It wouldn't be a beardy stream without some technical junk. Truer words have never been said. Hello, everyone! How are we today? You get my actual house today as a background rather than the igloo because I haven't updated my assets yet, the art and the transitions and everything. You may have noticed, I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that the channel art has changed. Different art style that we're going for. So I haven't had a chance to finish updating all the stream assets and things. Today's stream was a little bit last minute, let's say. Technical junk's my favorite kind of junk. Carnasa's in the chat. We've got a lot of people in chat today. Over 100 folks. Cal 9000. Good afternoon. Raging Duck Dirt. Corsaro. Of course, one of my loyal moderators. Got Luna here. Hi, Luna. Speedwalker. Gabriel. Floor. Council of Spook. Filsa, Grommen F14, Endoclone, Ratamisia, Riley Church, Dan Does Stuff. I'm recognizing a lot of these names, some of which from those old XCOM streams, if you guys remember those days. So, before all of you inevitably ask, where is All Kerbalkind? We're on an unintended hiatus, and it's not my fault for once. It's not my fault. N9 is busy. So we're having a little bit of a hiatus, but it should, fingers crossed, be coming to an end soon. But I thought I would wet the whistle, so to speak, and design a UR700. I've been meaning to do this for a while. I mentioned it at the end of the last episode I made, that I was going to stream it that Friday, and then I had COVID. And then I've just been busy since. So anyway, for those of you that do not know what a UR700 is, it's a UR500, but much, much bigger, is the best way I can put it. Let's go for UR500 that launched Salute 5. Now, this UR500 here is basically the upper stage on this thing. That's how bonkers this rocket gets. And you might be wondering why we need this if we have the N2. And that's because in our mod pack, the mighty RD270 rocket engine, which is like, where's the width of the upper stage? This has actually got a variant, which wasn't real, really. Glushko kind of looked at it and went, oh, that would be fun, but insane, and never actually did it or tested it. But it has got a variant that burns pentaborane, probably the single most toxic propellant ever considered for a rocket, and that's why this stream is titled the most dangerous rocket the Soviets ever built, right? Well, not ever built, ever designed. And it wasn't really designed. The UR700 was, but it was never really intended to use pentaborane fueled engines. But we're going to do it anyway because Kerbal Space Program. Kerbals are made of sterner stuff, and it's a bit of fun. I know the RP1 devs are probably not going to be happy, but as I say quite often, they're never happy with anything that we do in this series. Is it about 200 bigger? It is at least 200 bigger, Carnasa. Yes, thank you for your contribution. Good for the lungs. Oh, what am I drinking? I mean, I don't get sponsored by them. I wish I got sponsored by them, but I'm just drinking Coronas. It's like I'm in a Fast and Furious movie, huh? Yeah, it's my favorite beer. Favorite, like, casual drinking beer. I do also tend to drink Guinness from time to time. I'm partial to a stout or a tequila beer. Will N9 have access to any Sea Dragon parts? Yes. So he's going to have to do the fuel tanks himself. We haven't configured them fully. I believe Carnasa did some configs for the engines, but we need to probably recost them and such. But yeah, N9 does have access to Sea Dragon parts. But that's a little ways off yet. I know he's definitely planning to use it, and I know there are some avid haters of the Sea Dragon, particularly in his Discord. But no, that should be on the way. I just realized I forgot to put the donation link in. Oh no, the donation link is in the description of the video. Okay, no, we're fine. So if anyone does want to give me money, there you go. but absolutely no obligation to. So let's remove some of these stickers. Actually, no, we'll leave the sticker on, and we'll just change what it says. Oh wait, no, this isn't a text sticker, is it? This is an actual flag I made. So no, we will remove that. So let's get up a picture. Oh, I just moved my overlay instead of the window. Professional streaming at its finest. Honestly, I swear there's something goes wrong with my stream every single time I stream. So let's get a picture of the US 700 up. I've got like a piece of paper with a bunch of stats and things on it and dimensions, so that we're not just going to be looking at pictures all day. Here we are. Yeah, that's a decent photo. I'm not getting it up on the stream just because these pictures are probably copyrighted. Any thoughts on Fallout London? I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I do love Fallout, but I've actually only just been playing Fallout New Vegas. I haven't finished it yet, basically 100%ing it, but I'd never played it before. It was my first Fallout game. I got about 20 minutes in. It was really jank, and then it crashed after 20 minutes, and I thought, that was crap. And then Fallout 4 ended up being my gateway drug into the rest of the series. So I finally got around to playing New Vegas with about 150 mods to make it stable, and man, it's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. But yeah, playing it unmodded can be a bit on the rough side. So let's have a little look. I wonder, do we start at the top? I suppose we do. I am just going to remove this payload though, because obviously this isn't really what it's going to be launching. So where's the best place to slice this? Remove the fairing there. These avionics up here? Yeah. Okay, we'll remove the avionics. Let's actually make the avionics the root part, and then we'll go from there. And then we'll do the top of the rocket a little later. I don't know how far along we're going to get today. This stream was not very well planned, as you can probably tell. But yeah, we're just going to have a bit of fun. I'm going to see where we go. So this stuff, thankfully, doesn't really need to change. We don't need to really retool anything, which is nice. But it does only have 3 of these side tanks here. And it has, I believe it only has the 3 engines. Yeah. So instead of the 6 that it has right now, we're going to reduce this to 3. So if I just grab that, there we go. Looks, it's already starting to look a little strange, but this shows why this universal rocket concept, well, existed, right? Because it was modular. You take your proven flight hardware, you know this bit works, don't need to requalify it, don't need to retest it, and you just extend it. And you can keep adding to it and expanding its capabilities without having to requalify an entirely new launch system. It's that sort of simplicity and reusing all the same tooling for the same diameter stages that were its key advantages, really. Now, I have realized the modules are supposed to be 4.15 meters, and I think I made them 4.1. I think that might be wide enough. I'd have to retool. Let's have a little look. Oh, it's not. That's actually within the tolerance. Okay, I might make this the correct diameter then. Let's check. I think I actually got it wrong when I made the UR500. Proton rocket diameter. What is its diameter? The core tank has a diameter of 4.1. Is it 4.1 or is it 4.15? I'm finding conflicting reports on this. No, it is 4.15. Why no music? That is a good point. We should put some music on, shouldn't we? At the moment, we're just hearing the ambient noise of the VAB. So let's put a little bit of background music on, shall we? Ooh, you know what? We'll put on some Stellar Drone. You can't go wrong with that. As you can tell, yeah, this stream was not prepared. Stellar Drone music. Yeah, I'm feeling Stellar Drone music. Can't go wrong. Right, can we hear that okay? I think we can. I need to play the whole playlist, actually. There we go. Do you intend to keep using the N1 for robotic missions? The N1's retired. I mean, it's such an unreliable rocket. And it's such an expensive rocket as well. I don't see why I would use it when I've got the N2, which doesn't cost that much more. Like, if you consider how much payload it can launch, the cost per unit, and also consider how often the N1 failed, yeah, it's a much better idea just to use the N2 if we want to use that. But yeah, there's not much point using it much more. It was not a very reliable rocket. So yeah, the diameter of my proton was wrong. It should be 4.15. I mean, you know, 0.05 of a meter, probably. You know, it's just it's 5 centimeters. I don't think anyone was really going to notice. But I don't know. I'm a stickler for getting this right, actually. So I'm going to just change this. And thankfully, it's a small enough difference that we can still use the same tooling. We haven't got to get any more on. There we go. I'm just going to turn the music down on my headphones. Okay. Hopefully. I just realized I'd have to redo these fairings. I've changed my mind. It's going to stay 4.1. And nobody's really going to know or care. At least these stages. We might do the other stages as 4.15. Just because, yeah, 5 centimeters difference. Yeah. Fine. As soon as I realized I have to redo this whole intricate fairing for the vernier nozzles for this engine, which was a real pain in the ass to redo. Yeah, no. Nobody will notice. It's fine. It's fine. We'll get away with it. Would have got away with it too if it weren't for you meddling. I mean, nobody's meddling. I'm just being a perfectionist. What's the plan if this thing explodes? We have to pay for cleanup. In the game, no. Kerbals are made of sterner stuff. Let's just pretend that they don't get cancer. Now, this should use high altitude nozzles. So RD254, which is a variant of the RD253. Now, I don't think we have access to that. No, we don't. So the RD253 should be here somewhere. Oh no, the RD254 is that the one that we use up here? Not you, these. RD253. We apparently do have access to the RD254. It was cancelled. The rest of the US700 project never flew. I didn't realize we actually had access to it. Well, check that out. Huh. Cool. Okay. I didn't realize we had it in the tech tree. That's actually really cool. So yeah, it's a high altitude nozzle version of the RD253. It's basically the same engine that powers the first stage of the Proton, but for us it's the UF500. We named it the Yaka because after the first thing that it launched. Okay, let's replace these things. Here we go. What's the best way to do this? Can we remove the struts on this? I'm not sure we can. Okay. Let's just attach it like so. And someone neutered! R7 for all Kerbalkind was junk. Has neutered £1 at the stream. Do you plan to build a 100% accurate looking, or are you going to iterate on it like they did in the UR500? The original was just 4 UR200s combined. And Anonymous has tipped, rejoice! The bready pingu is here. Hashtag Matlown sucks. Yes, Matlown sucks. Preach it, brother. So just to answer, R7 for all Kerbalkind was junk, and you are right. The R7 in for all Kerbalkind was absolute trash. Cursed rocket. Don't remind me of it. I'm going to try and make it look like the actual design. I know the UR500 ended up looking very different to the original plan, but the UR700 came later, and the upper stages of it are the UR500 that actually ended up being built. So it is just a proton, essentially. I've realized that we can actually remove this third stage here. I don't think it actually uses it. So it uses this, this segment here as the upper stage. I'm just checking. Yeah. So the core tank is shortened and the side tanks lengthened slightly, apparently. It doesn't seem to have... Does it have the nose cones on it? I'll have to have a look at a few different images. But yeah, this whole top bit of the rocket isn't even needed. I've just realized. Okay. I think it's a different stage above this, so I guess we'll make this the route and get rid of all of that. Okay. Well, I guess now we have no reason not to do the 4.15 meters after all. Okay. Gives a little bit more fuel. So apparently these side things are lengthened, and it looks like they don't actually have the aerodynamic nose cone on them. I'm sorry you can't see these images, but yeah, they're, if you want to have a look at them yourself, they're by Nick Stevens Graphics. He does lots of really cool graphics of the N1 and all sorts. He did graphics for a really cool series of books on the N1 as well, and UR700 and related concepts. Does some really cool stuff, so I'm not going to steal his artwork. But I am going to draw inspiration from it, as previously mentioned. The first payload of the UR700 should be an entire All Kerbalkind R7 to send it into interstellar space far away from here. Yeah, that is not a bad idea. I think it probably could lift it as well. That was a 60-ton rocket. It could absolutely do that. It shouldn't do that, but it could. So preoccupied whether or not you could, you never stop to think you should. Right. Getting decent pictures of this thing is difficult. So it looks like these side boosters actually extend up past the fairing. Am I right about that? Oh no. Okay, so the bit of the rocket on top like connects to it. I'm so confused as to what the staging of this rocket is. I need me a decent example. Is there like crossfeed or something? This is like, if you guys have a look, this is actually such a weird rocket. And there seem to be conflicting views on how exactly it would work. Matt Allen's been getting into mods lately. You should encourage him to get into RSS. I don't think he's that much of a sadist, or masochist, I should say. I have mentioned it to him, but he does not seem particularly keen on the idea, so we're not going to make him step outside his comfort zone just yet. I'm trying to see if this is cross-feed from the upper part of the rocket, or if the fuel tanks actually do extend that far. Because it's really hard to tell how this is supposed to work. But no, I think it really does just extend up that far. Okay. Oh no, okay, so those, okay, right, so I get it. So these fuel tanks, they don't have this aerodynamic nose cone on them. The payload fairings around the payload, which has 3 engines on it, 3 fuel tanks around the LK700 lunar lander, they connect onto these. So we actually get rid of this and then extend these a bit. Let's have a little look. So Corsaro, tip £1, how much to send Matt Lownkerman on a solar escape trajectory? I mean, if he wants to become one of my patrons, which he definitely does not, then he can always join the Intercosmos program. And R7 for Kaputnik was jank. Has tipped, make the R7 the test payload. Plus. I don't have the craft file anymore. I think it did essentially get thrown into the sun in here. Yeah, it's not in here and or compatible with this version. I'd have to rebuild it, and I don't have to tell you, I really don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. Right, let's change this nose cone. Oh, I changed the wrong one. I didn't mean to do that. Can we control Z that? Ah, no, we brought the whole rest of the rocket back. Okay. That's fine. Okay, I know what I'm doing now. Well, somewhat know what I'm doing. I want to double check the diameter of these side tanks as well. I think it's 1.7. But we'll double check. Diameter of proton side tanks. Pretty certain. 1.6 meter cylinders around a 4.1 meter core. I think I might have made them too wide. People don't seem to agree on the size of these things. Yeah, it looks like 1.6 meter cylinders around a 4.1 meter core, not 4.15. Apparently the higher stages are 4.15, but the lower one is 4.1? Huh? Okay. So it was right. It is just 4.1. And then... Man. I'm confused. Yeah, there are some conflicting sources, let's say. But apparently, no, it is definitely 4.1 and the strap-on boosters are 1.6. Okay, well, this booster is winding me up. Okay, so these are actually wrong. These should be 1.6 meters. Interesting. And if we remove the nose cone on these, if we just give them like domes instead of noses, and there we go. Because we actually want to attach fairings onto this later. So that looks about right. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. The silly rocket. A silly rocket? Yeah, it is a silly rocket, this. There's no two ways about that. Crikey, these engine bells look a bit ridiculous, don't they? Okay, I guess that's what I have to go with. And then these side tanks go up a little higher. I think they're about a meter higher. So it's 12.4. Here we go. Use pentaborane / fluorine for the core boosters, gas core, nuclear thermal rocket for the upper stage. Okay, now that's actually getting close to what the UR700M actually was in reality. So we're combining a few concepts here, actually. But that would have used, I believe, would have used a nuclear upper stage. Before you ask, no, we're not building that. As cool as that would be. Not quite yet. We're not quite yet doing that. Okay, so we've done our top bit. Time to do the stage below. Now, these stages are real weird. They're clusters of 3, and each core is 4.15 meters wide. And the reason for that is because 4.15 meters was the maximum diameter transportable by rail in the Soviet Union. And so therefore that limited the diameter of the modules. And so fully modular rocket, transport everything by rail instead of like the N1 building it on site. Just build it, test it at the plant in, at the time, the Ukraine, and then transport it over, just assemble it on site, stack it together and launch it. And each part of it was tested and trying to keep the complexity to a minimum. Okay, let's read what Cal 9000 said. The Proton first stage was the last upper stage of the US 700 proper. The stuff above was part of the LK 700 moonship. Yeah, exactly. That's why I've changed the starting with this section. And also, please name the moon base Untitled Spacecraft. What an excellent suggestion. Truly excellent. I'm not sure why it needs this hot staging ring for the LK 700. Because I feel like it should deliver it into orbit. Or maybe it just delivers it just shy of orbit in the LK 700 spacecraft. Undocks from there. I'm not sure of the mission profile. I'll have to do a bit of reading up before we build that. We will be doing an LK 700. We have the parts for it, which is a direct ascent lunar lander. And as I mentioned in the last episode, that would be much better suited to supporting a moon base. Just because it's a lot faster and a lot easier. No rendezvous and docking. Just for my own sanity. And you get all 3 Kerbals to the surface as well. That would be much better suited to a moon base. So once we've got a moon base, that's when we'll start launching Kerbals on this. We may not use the pentaborane fueled version of it. So what we actually need now is some form of tri-adapter, because we next have 3 boosters connected to each other. So I'm wondering, do we have one connection point and then connect all 3 to that? I think that we have got a tri-adapter in here. Could you please explain why pentaborane is so bad? It's just extremely toxic, like lethal. I mean, obviously all these rockets use some form of toxic propellant. Nitrogen tetroxide and symmetric dimethylhydrazine, all carcinogenic. You breathe it in, you get cancer. Pentaborane will literally kill you in seconds and on contact as well. You have to take so many more precautions and have special facilities to handle it. It's just very, very deadly. And it also will annihilate the launch pad, react with the launch pad, and it produces glass when reacted with nitrogen tetroxide, which is the oxidizer for it. Which is why really a staged combustion rocket engine with it couldn't really work. You need to use a pressure-fed one because it would actually form glass in the turbo pumps and clog up the turbo pumps with glass, which is wild. But we don't have to worry about such technicalities in this game. Glushko did look, Planting Glushko that is, look into it as a potential. And he's like, oh, we get another 40 seconds, 45, 46 seconds of specific impulse. And then realized how absurd and expensive and horrible the propellants are. And was like, no, that's a bad idea. Let's not do that. Let's just maybe not. And that was definitely a smart idea. Right, I don't actually have the tri-coupler. So we're going to do, I guess, 3... Are they mounted on one single structure? Yeah, okay, we'll just have one decoupler then. But we don't literally need to have a hot staging ring because of the way that these are arranged. So, should we still use a hollow interstage though, just because they look kind of cool? So I'm wondering, see if I can get a closer shot of what this looks like. Let's have a look at this picture. This is a decent photo actually. Not that you guys can see it. I'm just gonna quickly download it and have a look at it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We will use that ring actually. I'm sorry I'm using reference images that you guys can't see. For those of you that are joining more recently, it's because they are copyrighted images. Unfortunately, people gotta make a living. Disgusting, I know. Fluorine for the fluorine god. Yeah, we're not using fluorine on this one. Okay, we've got enough toxic propellants to worry about. Okay, let's use this hollow interstage. And then we'll connect the 3 to it. We need a beefier looking truss though. Plebby 64 Potato, take this pound, funny British man. That sounds like you're punching me. But thank you very much. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Right, let's get a chunkier looking truss. That's a pretty chunky looking truss. Oh, no, there we go. That's a bit more useful. It's an Aero B interstage apparently, but we're going to use that. That actually looks pretty good. Okay. If we make the diameter of that, this actually almost looks like a structural member that's supposed to be there. And if we just rotate it a bit so it's not clipping into the engines, or at least not clipping too much. Nah, that almost looks like it's supposed to be like that. Yeah, it's good enough. Okay, that's actually, then yeah, that actually looks okay. Alright. So now we need 3 of these boosters. So, what kind of tanks do these use? These use isogrid structure tanks. Yeah, we'll go for the same. I believe the actual one would have used separate structure tanks, but yeah, again, just trying to keep it simple, keep the cost down, but we've got access to better tank technology, so that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to use it with a refined aluminium gridded tank. Yeah, I've unlocked the others, so that's fine. Okay, diameter. So these ones are 4.15, but thankfully still doesn't require any new tooling. They do have little noses on them. Kind of like that, actually. That looks pretty much exactly like it. Not quite that flat. Let's have a look if there's a better suited one, but I think nose number 3. Yeah, that's what we're going to go for. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so then these, we'll change the color scheme at the end. So they can't clip into each other, but we want them to be quite close together, and then we'll strut them together. Okay. That'll probably be alright. We need to vertically stretch this a bit so it actually looks realistic that it can connect them though. So let's do exactly that. Seeing a bit of method behind the madness as to how I build my rockets. Bit more than that, I think. 2 meters? Might be enough. I kind of want that to be level with here. So that's a little bit more. 2.5. There we go. Okay. That actually looks alright. Unless we move these engines up a bit more, which maybe it'll look better if we did. And extend out the bottom of this a bit far. So let's try shifting the engine bells up a bit to about there, perhaps. Got certain parts of the engine that are sticking out, but I think that does actually look a bit better. Or should the fuel tank, the little pressurization tank here, stick out? What do you guys think? More exposed engine or hide the engines a little more? The nose cones that look like Apollo command modules are the ones that look the closest to the UR700 core nose cones. I mean, You're referring to... We've got procedural nose cone, but I don't think it's actually in here. If it's one of the stock parts, we don't have it. I think, yeah, this is the best nose we have in... the actual modular tank. What would Comrade Glushko do? They're pointy, not rounded like the one you have now. Okay. Well, what we can do then is get a procedural one. Like that. That's why streaming these builds is so helpful, because you guys can give me pointers. They actually don't look particularly... Yeah, how's that? Is that a bit better? Tell me what you think. And this can be shrunk down a bit now. Probably to 2 meters. Let's have a look at what that looks like. Yeah. I like that. Rocket engines are beautiful, don't hide them under fairings. Okay, we'll leave the engines exposed like that. We'll leave it exposed. Here we go. I'm surprised we actually have these high altitude nozzles. I really didn't realize we had them. Can we upgrade them? Ooh, we can. Crikey, that's a lot of upgrades. Wow, okay. What are the sub-configs? Higher thrust at the cost of efficiency. UDMH liquid oxygen version. Much higher performance, it requires cryogenic fuel. Yeah, we don't want that. So the whole point of this is using storable propellants. You can leave it on the pad for a long time. You can fuel it up. You don't need to fuel it up like on the pad. You can fuel it up and send it there. Although maybe transporting giant tanks of pentaborane over rail isn't the best idea. I mean, you have supposedly a conversation between, I think it was Chilome and a member of the Soviet sort of high command, and the high up Soviet general person says, hey, what happens if the rocket explodes? Wouldn't the entire launch site be a dead zone for 20 years? And Chilome goes, but Glushko's rocket engines are reliable. They don't fail. It won't happen. And the next launch of the Proton, an engine failed on launch and ended up crashing. And all these onlookers had to run and hide in their cars, and they had to wait for the rain to wash away these toxic propellants. And after that, like, they were like, no, this UR700 thing, no. No. Even with UDMH NTO, let alone pentaborane. What's this thing's payload capacity going to be? I would be surprised if it was less than like 160 tons, honestly. Recommend just building one at a time when that's finished, then use symmetry to get final number around the core. My CPU is fine. Moon base for full permanent space Earth orbit space station. Well, we're going to have a lunar space station. I've got permanent Earth orbit space stations. It's only N9 that doesn't. I've got plenty of space stations, in fact. Anyway, we're not going to use these sub-configs, but we are going to use the Mark III because speculative mid-70s upgrade, yeah, we want that. Give me that. There we go. UDMH and NTO, perfect. So people are saying that this should be a truss structure instead of this thing. And at this point, yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Does look a little bit goofy, doesn't it? So let's... something like this, perhaps? That looks a bit better. What truss do we use here? just truss. I don't know about truss 1. It looks a little spindly to me. I think we need something more like that. So how big do we make that? We have that 2 meters. Okay. Something more like that, I think. That looks like some of the others. Yeah, no, I like this one. Oh, that's as big as we can make this? Oh. Lame. Guess we can use 2. Now looks even more goofy though. Nailing catastrophe comes to mind. Yep. What do you think, guys? Truss, or do we prefer this thing, the ARB interstage? I mean, it does look a bit sort of beefier, doesn't it? Truss looks more solid. The ARB interstage is clever. Yeah, okay, people are saying keep the ARB, so we'll keep the ARB. What monstrosity are you building, Beardy? I'm building the UR 700. Something that just definitely should never have been designed. Particularly with pentaborane engines. Which is what we're using because we are the Soviet Union. And we're a Kerbal Soviet Union, which gives us a license to be even more insane. Okay. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, so let's see. How long are these? Stage 1. 34.2 meters, apparently. Okay. That's the total length, including this bit. So this is 2 meters tall. So this needs to be 32.2 meters long. Oh, crikey, this is going to be a bit of a behemoth. Now, the 0.2 can be for the engine mount, probably. My oh my. Yeah, you guys can start to see the scale of this thing now. This is technically stage 2 that we're building here. Yeah, we're going to need some struts, that's for sure. Wowza. I feel like Wedge in Star Wars. Look at the size of that. Okay, now for the engines. So now, this is when we lose our minds. And we slap pentaborane PB1 versions of the RD270. So looking at the engine mounts, let's go find a nice looking one. I don't know if the height of this includes the height of the engine. I think it probably does, honestly. It's the height of the entire stage. So, you know, I think we need to shorten these a bit. So let's shorten them a little. Who donated? R7 was jank. Yes, I really got the license for tomfoolery. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly one way of putting it. We do a little trolling. My goodness, this is already looking absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Let's pick a nice engine mount. It's sort of like a boat tail kind of mount. Yeah, like that. That's what I'm thinking. And then if we just the engine up like that. What do we think of that one? Yeah, I don't really want the inner workings of the engine showing for these ones. Though I would like the labeling of the engine to be showing. Okay. There we go, RD270 on the side. What do we think of that? Yeah, looking at the concepts, that looks about right. Just a little bit of leg showing. They were in half spheres. Are they? Oh yeah, no, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Okay. Let's change these for not those. If we just select the mount, actually, that would make a bit more sense, wouldn't it? We want... Yeah, that looks a little bit more like it, doesn't it? Not that. Although the framed one might be a little... more accurate to how it looked, actually. What do we think of that? Get to see a little bit more of the old turbo pump assembly. Or we could do that. No, they didn't look like that. It also covers the name of the engine, which isn't fun. Yeah, how's that? How's that? That actually looks a little better, I think. Okay. That's looking proportional right now. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. How much is this thing going to cost? Let's see how much the propellant costs. Propellant, not as much as you would think. Okay, interesting. Interesting indeed. Okay, right. So we got those. We'll add the grid fins and struts and bits and bobs. Actually, no. We will do it now. We will do the struts now. Actually, no. I changed my mind. We are going to do it later in case we change stuff and it messes the struts up and everything. That's probably the best way to do it. Okay. And then... if it'll let me offset these. Thank you very much. Bada bing, bada boom. We have stage 2 and stage 3. This thing looks so weird. It looks so weird. Okay. And then we've got 3 sets of kind of double boosters. Interesting. So 3 core modules are actually cross-fed into by these outer ones. Okay. I think this is going to be a case of doing them one at a time, then duplicating them. Because it's going to be really tricky otherwise. So I think the best place to actually attach this is onto here. Which is going to be a little bit spindly, but... can't really see a better way of attaching them. We'll just have to add a lot of struts. This thing is a weird rocket. It's not how... I think any sane person or any usual KSP player would design a rocket. Okay. Is the music okay, by the way? Is the music at an okay level? Can you guys hear it? Is it too loud? Do let me know. Okay, I guess the music's good. Okay. I think we'll use one of these, but I think we'll use two. So one for each of the boosters, then connect them. I know they're kind of connected as one unit, but music is amazing. What Spotify plays? It's not actually Spotify. It's Stellar Drone. You can download their music for free. But it's yeah, it's very nice stuff. I use it as background music sometimes. Yeah, so that keeps it just clear of the engines. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna do these just yet, so we'll figure it out though. I think we'll probably stick with the modular nose cone. How long are these? So these are 53.6 meters long total, not including. Well, that does include the nose cones. I don't know if the nose cones actually have fuel. I guess the nose cones wouldn't have propellant in them. No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't have propellant in them. Shows you how high the main section of these goes. Sorry, we're discussing rocket design in the late Soviet Union. Sanity has nothing to do with it. Absolutely correct. And that's the way it should be, dang it. Okay, so these I made 27, so I took a good sort of 5 meters off for the engines. So if we take 5 meters off of these ones as well, then it's 48.6, and then, you know, a fair bit for the nose cones. So, you know, we'll just call it sort of 35-40 meters for now, and then we'll just see what that looks like. Okay, we're gonna have to get rid of the VAB to see what we're doing. Oh goodness me. Okay. We'll change the tank types and everything in a bit. Damn, these high altitude nozzles really do look a little goofy, don't they? I might just... Is it worth moving them in a bit? Yeah, I think it does look a bit better if we do that. And it looks like these are sort of strutted on, and means that the turbo pumps aren't clipping quite so much. Yeah, I do prefer that. Just slightly. Okay. Yeah, that's a bit better. And then, because these will be side by side, this will be a little bit closer in. So it won't look quite so goofy. But look how silly this already looks. It already looks so ridiculous. Okay. So we got this. And is that about the right height for the main booster? Let's see. It goes about halfway up this stage. That might be a little bit too tall. I sort of use the horizon here as a zero line there, which is quite handy. Could you show us the spiral if it's ready? Unfortunately, spiral is not ready. No. I've got the mod, which is actually the HL20 mod, because there is no spiral mod, but the HL20 was based off of spiral, so it's the closest we can get model-wise without making our own. But I haven't even begun configuring it yet, so no. So the mod's just not ready, unfortunately. I need to make so many configs and things for it, and just haven't had time. But we'll get there. Right. Can you offset the... No, you can't really offset the nose cone easily. So we'll see if there's an included nose cone that fits the part. We probably could have just used nose 7 and squished it a bit, couldn't we? For these ones. Oh well. Yeah, that does basically... I mean, it doesn't come to quite the same point, but... No, I think that might actually look better. It's fewer parts. Any sort of workarounds I can do to reduce the number of parts is usually worth it. So yeah, we'll do nose 7 actually. What vertical scale did I get? Half scale. Yeah. I think that looks fine. Then we'll go with that. Yeah, because anything I can do to even reduce the part count slightly is usually worth it. Because this game can get hella laggy. I am going to get another memory upgrade at some point for my PC. Go from 32 to, I'm thinking 128, which is an ungodly amount of RAM. But for my video editing and for playing heavily modded KSP1, it's... I don't know, it's looking increasingly necessary. Okay, so put the nose scale back to normal, and let's have a look at some of the other ones. They're quite pointy, but they're actually angled. Kind of like these. No, not quite like these. Actually, no, they are more pointed than that. Kind of like that. If there's a... There's not really an angled version of them, though. Could use a modular booster tank as a nose cone, but that'd look a bit goofy. So knowing there isn't like a offset... Oh, there is an offset. Oh, I'm an idiot. There is exactly an offset. Okay. Yeah, that's what we're going to have to use then. Damn, these procedural part mods really have thought of everything, huh? Okay. No, we have not really connected these well. There we go. We'll make these exactly the right height a bit later. Put the music back on. Music died. There we go. Okay. Right, and then let's try and make these the right height. If N9 drops into this stream, he's going to be like, what on earth are you doing? I leave you for 5 minutes. Well, 2 months, but... He's been a busy guy. We've all got stuff going on. So it's Carnasa as well. I mean, to be fair, we've all been busy, but... you know, I wouldn't have chosen for us to obviously go on hiatus. Everyone's just like, oh, why you gotta go on hiatus? Like, yeah, obviously, you know, it's as annoying for us as it is for you. Like, having a go at anyone involved in this series is never it. Yeah, it's not like we don't want to be making these regularly and be making a regular schedule, but yeah, again, that schedule, and I've had people like, oh, why keep promising 2 weeks? And it's like, well, A, it's not a promise, it's a target. And B, you know, we only ever say that when we think it's achievable. And Yeah, and then things happen. Right? It's what we're aiming for. But if we don't give people a rough schedule, then the incessant comments are, well, what's the schedule? Yeah, when can I expect the next one? So people demand estimates, which we can't really give firm estimates. So we say, okay, like roughly every 2 weeks. And then people are like, it's been T-minus exactly 2 weeks. Where's my episode, Beardy? Or N9, or whoever's turn it is. So For All Kerbalkind isn't dead. No, it's not dead. Yeah, I'm making a For All Kerbalkind stream for a dead series. Right, how tall exactly are these nose cones? So that's a decent photo. Let's have a look at that. They go up to just past this, actually. So I think this fuel tank is possibly a bit too long. I think it should probably go down to about here. So we'll shrink this a bit. By like 2 meters. Okay. Then these go to about there. No, we'll leave them there, actually. We'll leave them there. I think that looks quite nice. Sort of linking up with the top of the interstage. Okay, and then what we've got to do is duplicate these bad boys. I'm thinking the way to do this is probably just have one of them connected to the coupler and have the other one attached to it. That's probably the way to go. I think it'd just be easier. Again, we're going to need a lot of struts and things, but that's okay. Right. Then we'll figure out the rotations and everything in a minute. So if they were sort of parallel, they'd look like this. But they're sort of both pointing towards the core, and they're halfway between. So now if we shift this one over, it's going to be a bit of a merry dance. I can already tell. Okay, is that clipping anything? Oh, yes it is. We need a bigger decoupler. Yeah, the coupler's not big enough. There isn't a procedural radial decoupler, unfortunately. So, okay, we could just go for 2 then. That might be easier. Okay, if we attach that directly to that, and then we have a coupler for each of them, that might work a little better. Okay, let's line these engines up. Actually, let's get the decoupler where we want it to be first. Which is probably firmly in the middle of this. It's like there. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. Et voila. And then if we just duplicate that. Okay, it wouldn't let me place it. That's strange. Try that again. There we go. That was odd. Keeps not wanting me to place it. There we go. This does actually need to move a bit further around, actually. To there. Is that how far apart the boosters actually are? No, they're a little closer. Okay. Simulating this flight's going to be nice. I mean, this... typed out to each other and come back to this monstrosity. This is what the rocket looks like, man. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, there's no easy way to put it. This this thing is disgusting. There we go. That looks better. Okay. Now we're cooking with pentaborane. Okay. I'm gonna move these to couplers a little. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I wanted to click that. Move the coupler down a bit to like there, so it's not on the nose cone itself. It's coming together though. I mean, it's really starting to look like the real thing. Okay. That is look absolutely terrifying. And there we have it. That's our first stage. Look at that. So these nose cones, I'm just going to rotate a bit. Because they actually sort of come together like that. Yes, that looks a little better. I might offset them a little more. Or just rotate them a little bit more. More like that. Yeah, that's it. That's the badger. Okay. Wowee. That's certainly one of the rockets of all time, isn't it? We do need to slap some avionics on this thing. Don't know where we're going to put the damn avionics, though. We've got this dome here. I guess we could turn the dome into the avionics. That would work. That would work. Okay, let's how big is... Well, okay, let's fill this thing with fuel first. Then we'll start looking at some of the performance of each of these. Okay, so these are already filled with fuel. That's fine. I don't think these have the right kind of fuel. So it should be the RD254. There we go. So they've got the right ratios there now. And these ones too. Now these big ones here do actually cross-feed into these ones. I mean, originally this was segmented into 2 tanks, and like the upper tank just cross-fed into these, whereas while the lower tank fed this engine. But I don't know if we... No, we do have the external fuel duct. So we are going to do that. But yeah, not just yet. just, yeah, we'll figure out the staging, we'll figure out the fueling, and we'll figure out the avionics first. So it's already almost 5,000 tons. How big was the actual one? You are 700 rocket. How big is this thing? Gross mass, 4.8 million tons. Damn, once it has the payload, this is actually going to be pretty accurate. So it's the nose cones that feed the second stage. Okay. Well, it's not quite the nose cone. I mean, looking at the diagrams, it's the nose cone and like up to about this way down, this far down. I mean, the fuel tank doesn't go into the nose cone. It's here to about here. Feed these. But we just have the entire fuel tank feeding in. It's just a bit easier to build. Right, let's slap some avionics on this bad boy. Where's our VAB gone? Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's the orientation we want it to have from the bar. Okay. So, avionics. Diameter 4.15 and there we go, large scale avionics. Oh, we have advanced avionics now. I didn't know we had that. Heck yeah. We have to tool new avionics anyway, might as well. Cool. Didn't realize we'd unlock that. And so this is going to have to... yeah, I mean, I might as well just make it... with the payload and everything. The payload on paper is 150 tons, but we might increase this in future. So... I'm thinking 5,000. Yeah. That actually works out quite nicely. Oh, we were going to make it a dome, weren't we? So we make this the dome, then that doesn't have to. What is this? This is dome B. Can we add a nose onto this, or... Nah, okay, we'll just make it a smooth cone, I think would be the way to do it. Wait, what is this? A hollow... You can make a hollow... Okay, I did not know you could make avionics that shape. Or hollow at all. Wow, okay, these are new options to me. Did not know you could do that. That's fun, I guess. Right. So, the base of this, 4.15 meters. Yep. And make the length more like that. And the top needs to be 0. Then if we remove the nose off of this, attach it, then voila. So we might make the avionics a little thinner so it fits in this interstage a little neater. Yeah, just 4 meters flat. That works quite nicely. Okay. Let's configure this bad boy. Cool. So you want 5,000 tons, 10,000 go. Okay, we can actually put a lot more electric charge in this if we wanted to, but I think that looks pretty good. We're going to make it a little shorter though, I think. What's the length right now? The length is currently a meter. It does not need to be that long. Like 600, like that? That could work. No, I want to move that. There we go. Right. Is that big enough? I reckon it probably is. Yeah, more than big enough. It's a little weird now, though. Can we change the curve a bit? Yeah, that looks better. Okay, cool. We have ourselves some avionics, which we are going to paint. Right. Paul's here. How you doing, Biddy? Hope you're well and happy. I am indeed well and happy. Yeah, work's been busy. Before people ask where I work, I can't say where I work because I work in aerospace. Unfortunately, in defense. Because it's the only way into space. I do want to get into the space industry eventually, but we're not quite there yet. But yeah, doing well. I hope you're doing well, Paul. Long-time supporter of the channel. Good to see you. As you can see, we're committing crimes against rocketry right now. Right, let's set up the crossfeed and set up the staging. I mean, we're not going to test launch it, but I just want to see what Delta V this thing has. We'll slap a payload, a dummy payload on the top and see how much this could launch into orbit. So if we get our external fuel ducts going, so I guess we just want to connect that to that, like that. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, we'll make it look a little better later, but we'll get the idea. So, on ignition, we'll actually start all of these engines. Peak is tipped. £6.66. Thank you. Didn't really say anything, but thank you for the donation, Pika. It's appreciated. Beardy, please change the craft name so you don't overwrite Salute. Ah, that is a good point. And it's probably going to be... I don't know if I'm going to call it Salute 7. I was saying Salute 7. Thanks for the tip, Ratamusia. The tip and for the tip. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. I haven't got around to saving it yet, but I probably should save it. I don't know if it's going to be called Salute 7 or Lunar Space Station, because that's what this is going to launch first. I think I might do a Prey reference. I know I already did this in Endurance, but I might call it Talos 1. I think that might be fun. I think Salute 7 could be a low Earth orbit space station. I think a lunar Salute 7 isn't as much fun. I think different naming scheme for the lunar ones could be fun. So I think I might call it Talos. We'll see. We'll save that. I'm gonna check I didn't already save over the UR500. I didn't. Okay, phew. Whew. Crisis averted. Right. Let's put these engines into an earlier stage, which we don't want. Okay, so then we'll couple these. And then fire those. Man, this thing is... this thing is atrocious. Goodness me. I might also change the core texture of this. So these are supposed to be cryo and core texture RT cryo Soyuz. There we go. That's looking a little better. Even though these don't have cryogenic fuels in them, but I just like using these textures. I think they look cool. Nice. Starting to look like you are 700. Right. These are our delta. We'll go for the total atmospheric, because that's about accurate, but is that right? It's not draining from that, is it? Oh, it is draining from that. Or is it? No, it's not. That is enough delta V to reach orbit. What have I made? I don't think these stats are right. Why is everyone saying orb? Oh, this is a giant. Yes, pentaborane is stored in the balls. You heard it here first. Because this thing weighs 4.8 kilotons. It weighs as much as the rocket. No way are these stats accurate. No way are they accurate. I think MechJeb is just drunk. Because, yeah, no way. No way. Need to reroute to the orb. Good point. Good point. Okay, I've rerouted to the orb. Still seems a bit screwy. If I save it and I load something else, then I reload it, then maybe it'll reset. Or it might be to the avionics, actually. Even then, the avionics is at the top of the rocket. Like, it should... Ah, there we go. That's a bit better. That's a bit better. Okay. So that should be enough to reach orbit, and that is 177 tons. So yeah, so that's a bit more realistic. So yeah, I reckon this could probably do 180 tons to orbit. I reckon it could do it. Chat really does like the orb, almighty orb. Praise be orb. I'm sorry, folks. The orb is gonna have to go on hiatus. But yeah, about 180 tons payload. That's using the pentaborane instead of the nitrogen tetroxide, which that would have been 150 tons payload. Not using the super duper toxic fuel. Just still quite toxic, but not super toxic. So there you have it. Right, let's slap some struts on this bad boy, and a few more of the details it needs. For example, it has grid fins that we need to add. We'll just use the N1 grid fins because they look the part. So they are actually attached between the 2 boosters. But we'll just attach it to one of them and then just offset it. Does that look a bit better? If I can select the damn thing. There we go. That's not quite right, is it? Okay, let's use this one. Yeah, okay. That's better. I think this actually retracts, doesn't it? Yeah, there you go. I can't make it any bigger there, unfortunately. But yeah, that looks good. I think I'll just move it slightly. Like so. Get it a little bit more in the middle. People are now praising the grid. Chat is getting very excited and beginning to treat aspects of this rocket like they are deities. Which, I mean, with a rocket quite this bonkers, can I really blame you? People saying don't forget the skirts. Skirts on what? Slap some chicken on that griddle. What skirts? Are there, like, engine skirts on this thing? I don't see any. Well, the concepts. The colour scheme just changed near the bottom. On some of the depictions anyway. We can always do the decals later. The grid needs to be bigger. Yeah, the grid can't be bigger. I can't scale these parts. These are fixed size parts, unfortunately. There is no procedural grid, unfortunately. We cannot have almighty giant grid. So that will have to do. I'm terribly sorry. Right, let's make these look a little better. So I want that sort of in the middle here. And I guess sort of there? Sure. And this one needs to similarly can I offset that? I can, okay, cool. You're gonna start praising the fuel lines now, aren't you? Oh, yep, they are. They are praising it. They are indeed praising the fuel line. Praise be. Y'all don't get outside much, huh? Coming from me, of all people. I should have known, creating a monstrosity such as this, that folks would start worshipping it. Okay, we have our fuel lines. Okay, now we just need a lot of struts. Are we going to start worshipping the struts now, gang? Okay, there's that strut. Is there a different kind of strut? I remember there being slightly cooler looking struts. Apparently not in this mod pack. Tube. Strut. Hail strut. Yep. Okay, the strut praise has started. Strut yo stuff, as they say. So we've got 1, 2, 3 struts sort of per. Okay, well, we're going to have one at the top, I reckon. What have I created? Like, not the rocket, but the apparent, like, UR700 cult I've created. I'm just going to put, like, a target strut on this, because, like, it's hard to know where to place it. Okay. So that strut connect to... Oh, no, it literally does connect onto the strut. We don't want that. Does that work? Okay, it does apparently. Okay, beneath that strut, please. We don't want strutception here. Sure, good enough. That's one. Where's the rough middle of this? Oh, I don't know. We'll do the bottom one first. I want to make sure that they're all in about the same place. Yeah, that one there. Cool. And then the third one, somewhere in the middle. See, I would usually use auto strut, but this one you can see the actual visible struts on the damn thing. Chat is going mad. He's ignoring chat on purpose now. I am just focusing on my rocket build, to be fair, but you can derive whatever you want from my lack of chat interaction. I'm seeing it just scroll really, really quickly on the right, and I know I have no hope in hell of keeping up with it. There we go. Pengu. I have fully made a cult. It's not even a rocket cult anymore, it's a beardy cult. Right. More struts. I am a slut for struts. And so are all of you, apparently. That's one. Okay, this one goes here. I'm actually such a perfectionist with like free placement of this. It's really annoying you can't snap the second strut placement, only the first one. I'm sure I'm the only person in like the history of KSP that's been wound up by that, but yeah, I do find it irritating. Okay. We got our struts. Then these big bad boys need to be attached onto these. There we go. Okay. They're not exactly lined up, but that's close enough. It's close enough. Right, we definitely need another strut in here. I reckon one to the top of this bit as well. Okay. That is a rocket that struts its stuff. The cult is fragmented into several warring factions. Oh no. Crikey, someone spammed a bunch of bread emojis. There's a bread cult forming. I'm glad I got slow mode on, because you lot are insane. Right. What time is it? Okay, we have time to do the ALK 700. But we're just going to launch a test payload to begin with, because I'm sure you guys are getting antsy. I can tell from the fact that you formed a cult. So we'll do a rocket launch and see how controllable, if at all, this thing is. What's the gimbal on these things? They got gimbal? I reckon we're not going to need much more than 15 degrees of gimbal. I know it's not in degrees, but yeah, usually these kind of things massively over gimbal. I think the core could actually be a bit more. Maybe the outer ones shouldn't gimbal at all. Just the core ones do like 30. That'd probably be alright. And then these ones, do these gimbal too? Yeah, they do. Let's do these at like 20. So we've got finer control over it. We can try that. I feel like we may need separatrons on this thing, but that's a problem for in-flight. If it explodes, it explodes. Let's slap a launch pad on this thing. We could use the N1's sort of launch complex. Let's have a little look at the modular launch pads, shall we? Don't know what kind of launch pad this thing would have actually launched from. Where are my modular launch pads at? There we go. You just need something to clamp it down to begin with, actually, so... yeah. We'll, we're going to have to clamp this onto, like, one of the engines. It's not going to be central, exactly, but... oh, I didn't mean to make 3 of them. There we go. Then we just offset it into the middle. Oh, it'd be easier if we attached it to... that one. Then we can offset it this way. That looks close enough. Close enough to central, I suppose. Anyway, tails ought to go all the way to the top, I guess. Yeah. Sure. It'll stop it falling over when it launches. Okay, so engine ignition, release launch clamps. Let's stick a big dummy payload on this thing, a dummy thick payload. We just slap a, I don't know, big modular tank on it with a big nose cone. Okay. We'll fill this with pentaborane, sure, and make it weigh the 180 tons we think this can actually launch. So yeah, let's try pretty much exactly 180. Okay, that's 180.1. There we go. 180 tons. Let's see if we can get this thing into orbit. That would be pretty dang cool. pretty damn cool. Okay, I think we're ready. Fire those, fire those. Cool, I think detaching the boosters is going to explode, but you guys have been very patient, so let's... Actually, yeah, we have to launch this from the hazardous pad, won't we? We can't launch it from the main space center, so we'll launch it from there. Let's give this a go. I think it's going to have communications. Yeah, we got Avionics. Sure. Let's see what happens. Mars impactor crude. 88 pentaborane on the wall. Take one down, pass it around. 87 pentaborane on the wall. Oh, crikey. We got a impactor crude cult now. Beardy impactor crude. Oi, oi. With a hazardous pad perhaps be in a zone of danger. A danger zone, you could call it. Yeah, I'm not sure what you would call the road that heads there. The highway to said zone of danger, mayhaps. Maybe Kenny Loggins got an idea what you could name it. One of the stages is clipping. We'll find out. She impact on my cult till I crew. Oh my goodness, what have we done? What have we made? Also, why can't I move the camera? I fully can't rotate the camera. Going well. You reset my camera, please? Nope. Camera controls. No, you don't get them. No camera controls for you. I fully can't. I can't control the camera. It's so powerful, not even the camera can comprehend it. Well, that's weird. I could try restarting the simulation. That's real weird. Yeah, the camera can't control it. That's a new one. Not sure what was going on there. Let's take two. Input locks, people are saying. Yeah, maybe, actually. I'll try clearing the input locks next time. Oh, no, the camera's fine this time. Alright. Strange. I think I saw that... oh, wow. You can air launch. You can air launch in simulations now. That's new. I did not know you could do that in the latest version of Legacy RP1. Very cool. Right. Well, I mean, the thing is that this thing doesn't need a launch tower, right? And this is why the hazardous pad is designed the way it is. Because it's fueled up and storable propellant, it's rolled out. You know, it doesn't need to be continually fueled right up to launch, because it doesn't have any cryogenics on board. It's all storable. Right, this might be a bit loud. Yeah, it's not too bad. Oh, look at the green bloops! Oh. Oh, incredible. Incredible. Look at this thing. Look at it go. Oh, wow. The green tasty juice. Yeah, this gimbal is not high enough. Let's slap these up to 100%. That might be a bit better. That might be a bit too much gimbal. Yeah, that is too much gimbal. Let's try like 75 on the old gimbal. So we just have the core stages be gimbaled. The outer stages they can do without, I reckon. My oh my. What have I created? It's such a weird looking rocket, isn't it? It is so strange looking. But this is the design. This is what this thing looked like. I am shocked that this hasn't got a single auto strut on it as well. Just a couple of actual struts, and this thing's actually flying great. Pentaborane for the pentaborane throne. It does look amazing, doesn't it? I mean, I haven't done any of the decals or really much of the detailing yet. I need to put the flags on it and all sorts, but yeah, these nose cones actually need to be a little bit longer. This fuel tank needs to be a little bit shorter. Looking at the schematics. So yeah, these nose cones actually need to be stretched a bit. More to like here. Just another couple of meters. It doesn't quite look right. But my oh my. Look at that green. Look at that green. Absolute lunacy. You are right on the money, casuology. But what have I done? What have I made here? You know, I reckon we have time on the stream to at least make a rudimentary looking LK-700 lunar spacecraft. Or, you know, I think it'd be faster to tidy it up, pretty it up, and slap a space station on the top with a big kick stage. Because that's the mission it's actually going to fly, right? We're approaching stage separation now. Wow, this thing's already... Yeah, my gravity turn wasn't very efficient. I was too busy looking at the pretty engines. So we'll go for this. So we're going to detach these outer boosters and explosion? No explosion. I think we could definitely do with some separation boosters there, though, for sure. But yeah, look at that. Crossfeed works as well. Such a jank-looking rocket. I'm surprised that didn't explode. I thought it would have. We definitely need some separation boosters, that's for sure. Look at this thing. Look at this beauty. Right, with that section not exploding. But no, I've got a bad feeling that this section is. Let's time warp a little bit. We'll aim for like a 250 kilometer orbit. We're actually going to reach our apoapsis a little before that, so we need to... Yeah, I'm not really paying as close attention as I should to my trajectory. I'm just too busy looking at the pretty engine plumes. Rail Cowgirl powered by Mountain Dew. No. People are like, oh, we're burning fluorine. No, fluorine plume is yellow. This is, as mentioned, something much, much worse. This is pentaborane. Which is very, very, very toxic. Okay, right, we need to hot stage these engines. So let's ignite these. Okay, well, yeah, that didn't quite go to plan. We might need a bit more separation between those boosters and this engine. And also start firing earlier, because the engines cut out before they actually fully ran out of fuel, which I think is just like pressure residuals in newer versions of RP1. So yeah. Okay, we've got a few improvements to make, but this is a it's like this is an 8-minute burn. Oh yeah, it's because I only got 1 out of the 3 engines. Yeah. Is this right? And then it has 10 kilometers a second of vacuum delta V though. That doesn't quite seem right. Okay. People saying again, Shadowstone style. Shadowstone style? Shadowstone Zyle. That's what I think I was saying, but Shadow Zone style. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. Oh, is Calvin here? Hi, Calvin. Make it go boom. I think it just did go boom. Right. First things first. These boosters have actually moved down somehow. I think it's me changing the height of this. I'm not sure. But yeah, these engines... that should be there. So that's why they impacted that. So that's that mystery explained. And then we can... first of all... yeah, we need to move these down again. There we are. And then, yeah, these nose cones aren't actually long enough. These fuel tanks are a little bit too long. So let's have a look. It should be about 2/3 of the way down. Yeah, so a little bit further. So more like here. So let's reduce the length of this by 2 meters? 3 meters. Let's go 3. Then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That looks a little bit closer to how it's supposed to look. Yeah, that looks a bit better. That has messed up some of our struts though, which is a bit irritating, but we can always fix those. That's okay. There we go. That's that one. Oop, we don't want to move that, we want to move that. And then add some separation motors. And add some, like, livery to this thing. Let's get it looking pretty. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit more on the money. I might, because these should really be going towards these and then just be offset a bit more. So I'm going to change these. To be like that and then offset them a bit further. Like that. Aha! There we go. So then this will be sort of flush with the fairing, which will be on that. Yeah, cool. Let's fix some of these struts, shall we? Don't know how they glitched out quite that badly. Just that one. That one. And then this one. Sure, that's close enough. I don't think any of the other struts have messed up. Nope, they're all right. No, these ones have to. Dang it! Okay. Oh, and the fuel lines! No! Oh, no. I put F into the fuel lines, dang it. Okay. That one there. That one. There. Okay. And then this needs to move down a bit because the engines were actually touching the ground. It was swaying a little. So you can see the engines a bit. And there we go. Okay, then let's put some flags on this bad boy. Need some big Soviet flags on the side of it. I also want to get rid of this like grey part on the... we put a... I don't want foil. Nah, we'll just put white paint on this thing. Where's this grey coming from? Oh, it's on the actual... Is it on the booster? Oh, it's on the booster, yeah. Okay. Is it that bit? Nope. That bit? Nope. That bit? That bit. Where is this coming from? Where is this grey? This is definitely on the fuel tank. But I can't seem to get rid of it. That's the mount, so... Huh, okay, I might just be stuck with it. That's irritating. Ah, it's the nose I've got on it. There we go. Problemo solved. Nah, that's better. That has scuffed that, so let's fix that up. Okay. Okay, cool, cool. Crisis averted. Rocket Saint of Plushy Sharks is here, and it is the UR700. We were saying it's like, it looks like blow high. I mean, it looks nothing like a shark. I've got a big fin on it. I could, I could see it. I can maybe see it. People are saying LK700. I don't know if we have time actually. Like, building a crewed spacecraft in RP1 is genuinely akin to building a whole rocket like this. It will take about as much time. It took me ages to build the LEK. So, yeah, I don't think we have time for the LK700, unfortunately. I could do a rough approximation maybe, but yeah, no, I know we look at it like we do not have time, unfortunately. So we'll pretty this up a little bit, and then I think we'll probably call it a day in half an hour or so. So let's get this working. Let's get separation motors on. Let's get it to orbit, Let's get some cool flags on it as well. And then we'll probably call it a day. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this stream. Because I certainly have. I mean, we're committing crimes against existence with this thing, but we're having a lot of fun while doing it. That actually looks about right. It's like the size of the flag. Looking at some of the images. I mean, obviously this isn't a real... Well, it's a real design, but it never actually got built, so we don't know what it would have actually looked like. But I want to make it look kind of like the concept image does. I don't like that mount. Let's get rid of that. There we go. So then we've got a CCCP decal somewhere, I think. She captured it so complete. Oh god, that's silly. Don't say that one in a CSGO lobby. Okay, and then let's make it vertical text. There we are. That's a little bit too large, I think. Yeah, we'll go 50%, or does that look a bit better? We'll go 55. Everything that looks like, chat. I think that looks the part. We've got the CCCP on the side. I would like to add the sort of stripe to the bottom of these. You've sort of got a... Oh, I changed the color of the mount on this. Whoopsie. That's not good. I didn't mean to do that. Was it this bit? Nope. Is it that bit? Nope. Is it that bit? It is that bit. Okay, I believe that's... We can always just change it to what we want it to be. I mean, in the images, it's actually red looking. So we could make it red, but it looks metallic to me. So I'd rather make it like a light... so that's steel. Where's my aluminium metallic? Maybe we just stick with steel metallic, like the rest of them. And make sure they're all at the same height. I hope it doesn't mess up our crossfeed. It did mess up our crossfeed. No! Where have our crossfeed valves gone? Ah! Damn it. Okay, we've got to put them back on again. Right, let's just do everything else first, because those just keep bugging out. And our struts are gone as well. How irritating. And those struts have gone all janky again. Yeah, remind me to just do those at the end. The tubes are indeed gone, yeah. Right, any more decals we can add to this? We could add that coloration to the bottom. And easier, I think chat wants you to put a shark decal on the rocket. Yeah, I mean, I gathered that. I mean, I don't think I even have a shark in here. I've got like art like this, which we could put at the top, if that would satisfy chat. Let's make the top of it look like a shark, because that bit's the throwaway bit, right? Okay, let's what am I doing? Things that chat asks me to do. Oh. I mean, kind of derpy looking shark, but is that kind of what you wanted, chat? Are you happy now? You got a shark. Congratulations. There you go. There's your shark. Derpy shark. That's a... There you go. There's your IKEA shark. Our test payload is an IKEA shark. You heard it here first. Okay. What else was I doing? On the actual rocket I'm trying to build. I believe, yeah, I have got a solid black flag. So I could add the sort of bands that are on it. In some of the images. What do you guys think? Yay or nay? That's a yay for me. I kind of like the look of that. Need to add another one for the other side, obviously, but yeah. And then the core ones have that as well, actually. We just add all the flags we need to. Actually, it'd be easier if I added, if I did it like so. So I did it this side. Get out of my way. There we go. Why can't I select these now? There we go. Okay, so I did that. And then I did the other side. That does leave a bit in the middle. Which we can always add another one. No, I've decided I don't like how that looks. Better off just having it be a big naked rocket. I'll add some more sort of detailing and greebly kind of stuff to it in my own time. Let's just get these back on. Let's get the crossfeed back. And let's do another test launch of this bad boy. Oh, the crossfeed's reappeared? Oh, I didn't have the symmetry on when I put it back. I bet that's what it is. I bet I just didn't have the symmetry on, did I? Derp. That's right. Easily fixed. Okay. That is, I believe, a complete rocket once it has separation motors on it. You got the Almaz film return boosters, which would give it a good old kick. Otherwise, I think we just got spin motors. Do we have separation motors? Like any bigger ones? Or is that what we're stuck with? Because we haven't done any... Yeah, we haven't done any research down the solid rocket motors tree, so... I think this might be what we're stuck with. Okay, I'm not sure if these are going to have enough oomph to really do much. But we'll give it a go. So we'll put them in line with each of the struts, just so I remember where they are. So we have one there. One in line with that one. And one there. And the same on the other side. Again, I don't think these will do much. But they can't hurt. Just gives us a little bit more breathing room when separating. Okay, then these are hot stagings. They should be fine. Should. Right, all this needs now really is the Kaputnik logo on it. Let's have a little look. We put anything on the second stage? Do we think? What do we think, chat? I think the second stage is where I'll have the actual name of the rocket in Cyrillic, which I haven't come up with like a name for the rocket itself yet. Open to suggestions. It'd be nice if it was actually in Cyrillic or in Russian. I'm not calling it... How is it pronounced? Is it Blohai? Like that? I spelled Blahaj, but... Blohai. They're saying I'm not putting shark fins on the test payload. That's all you get. Take it or leave it. Right. There we go. Let's test launch this boy. Let's put all of the separation motors in with the actual thing. Thing is, I don't think these will stay strutted together when they get detached, will they? So I do wonder if the separation motors is going to make them spin. I guess we'll just have to find out. The more I think about that, the more uncomfortable it makes me. Actually, no, we are gonna put more on. No, that's going to make them hit each other. I lined them up with this, but I feel like I should probably have them more like there. Yeah, otherwise they are going to bump into each other. And that will not be good. I mean, entertaining for you guys, I'm sure, but yeah, probably not good for the rocket. There we go. These are tiny little boosters, though. I don't see them doing a huge amount. Really. But we'll see. I mean, we managed to survive stage separation the last time with no separation motors whatsoever, so it can't be worse than that. It's a lot of separation motors, wow. Okay, let's do this. Let's check that the tubes are still there. I'm just going to check that these engines aren't clipping these anymore. They are slightly. It'll be alright. Oh, we were going to increase the gimbal of these, weren't we? The gimbal of these was 75 instead. There we are. That will be fine, I reckon. Let's do it. Project Orion separation motors. What, isn't that just like a nuke? Riley says, Beardy, we have a suggestion. Oh, is that the Project Orion separation motors? I.e. a nuclear explosion. Zmea translates to serpent for the big rocket. I'm not sure it's a serpent kind of rocket. Akula. Does that mean shark? I assume that means shark. Zver Cyrillic means beast. Ooh, Begamot. That's probably not how you pronounce it, but that means behemoth. Engine skirts on either side of the boosters, and 3-stage boosters need to be up to the separator. Whoa! Hello, what's happening here? I think the shark wants to be free. That's strange, I swear. Let's go to the difficulty options. The Kerbal joint reinforcement. Yeah, the clamp should be completely rigid on it, but it does not seem to be. And we've got a nice wobbly shark. So, okay, let's let's fix that. KSP2 level of physics, yeah. He's flopping like a shark out of water. I've seen you with better beards. What happened? What's wrong with my beard? What's wrong with this? This is a perfectly good beard. Just a nice close crop beard. This is my usual beard, so I don't know what better beard you're referring to. It does mean shark, okay. Everyone's Akula. The wobble's a feature, trust me. Yeah. Crikey. Right, can we auto strut this? Yeah. To the root. And hopefully that will stop that wobbling. Who donated? Canok. US 700 Canok. MCC DTK. Thank you for the donation. I don't know about that. I don't know what it means. What does that mean? Type it in the chat. Right, auto strut that. Hopefully that'll be alright. just in case, we will also... Where are my launch clamps at? Okay. Yeah, that's a good shout. That's a very good shout. Yeah, it is Colossus. Okay, cool. That's certainly a suggestion. Here we go. The large hold down clamps. Oh, these don't actually clamp anything. They just look cool. Ah, well, it can't hurt. Okay, where are these in the there they are. May all look cool. It might stop it wobbling. Fingers crossed. Let's give that a go. Okay. And this is probably the last flight of the day. So we'll give that a little go, and then I think that's a good place to leave it. Auto strike, maybe auto strike at the base. Yeah, so I've auto strike at the base to the rocket now. Blahai rocket ready for liftoff. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong, isn't I? Like, I've always called it Blahaj, but I know that's not how you're supposed to pronounce it. You'll name it Shark Romkit. Juno, please. Juno will be back next week. I'm going to try and get back into regular streaming. I'm going to try and sort my stream assets out. My transitions and my art and everything. I'll probably have the blue screen back next week as well. Instead of seeing my Lego rockets in all their glory in the background, you can actually see the Saturn V, the N1, and the new Artemis set with the launch tower. You've got the R7, you've got Vostok, Soyuz, you've got Buran there. It hasn't got any gear though. ISS, and I've got some 3D painted models up there. You've got Fred the Penguin, the other side of me there. He's got his headphones on, and then you've got a giant spaceman wall there. How? I don't quite understand why this is quite so flaccid. I guess it's because it's not connected to the middle. It's not connected to the center of mass. Exactly, it's connected to one of these. Still, it's stable enough for us to launch, as far as I'm concerned. Let's go! It's good enough. Just a bit of a sideways launch. Nothing wrong with that. With Space Y. I'm surprised that didn't explode. Not gonna lie. Okay! Shark is on its way to orbit. Are those fluorine-powered engines? No, these are even worse. These are pentaborane-powered engines. Worse, or some might even say better. More toxicity. They're green. I mean, come on. The Kerbals were meant to use these engines. Mountain Dew engines. Yeah. The most toxic propellant known to Kerbalkind. So yeah, as I said, this will have an LK 700 on it eventually, but the first launch of it is going to be launching a space station to the moon. That'll be the test launch. It'll have more than enough capability to do that. It'll be a bit overbuilt for that, really, but for test launches, I like to have them overbuilt. Like, if the N2 wasn't overbuilt for the lunar complex it currently launches, then it wouldn't have reached orbit. The most recent lunar mission. And then from then on, yeah, eventually it will launch the LK700, although I think it probably won't use the pentaborane. We'll lower the payload capacity a bit and we'll use the nitrogen tetroxide unsymmetric dimethylhydrazine fuel combination, and we'll launch it from Baikonur rather than launching it from our hazardous launch site. So this is just the uncrewed one. The uncrewed one can use pentaborane, but I feel like it's not a great idea to launch crew on a pentaborane rocket. There's no reason we couldn't, but I just roleplay reasons. I think we should have a different variant of the US-700 for launching crew, because we won't need the full payload capacity of the pentaborane powered one anyway. Any consequences if it would crash? Funds compensation. The compensation. There aren't any real consequences for toxic propellants. They cost more. There is like a handling integration cost for these more dangerous propellants. It's not a huge amount. It's a lot more in programs and launch complexes, later updates of RP1. These earlier ones, it's only a relatively minor penalty for using toxic propellants. So the penalty really is that we have to use the more expensive launch site. That's the penalty that we've given ourselves. If you want to launch something hazardous, so fluorine, pentaborane, nuclear, you've got to build a separate launch site for it. So that's really the penalty. That's how we've done it. But other than that, there's nothing really in the game. We're about to detach. And hey, that actually worked pretty well. Nice. So they are actually modules that are connected together. So they would really detach in twos as a joined module, but it's just easier to attach them as individual boosters. And there we have it. Blowhigh is on its way to orbit. Next episode, we'll use a nuclear engine in atmosphere. We're still a ways off of nuclear engines, and also we don't get a nuclear engine in the first node. We have to, similar to the Hydrolox nodes, we have to research a whole bunch of American nuclear engines before we get to our first nuclear engine. There's only one Russian nuclear engine in the tech tree. N9 seems to believe it's the best one in the tech tree, though. It's actually quite small, quite a good thrust to weight ratio. But there's only one of them, whereas N9 gets quite a few different Nerva engines. Yeah, the fumes are green. They must be good for the environment. Exactly, Nicholas. Exactly. I mean, who knows? Maybe they are good for Kerbals. We don't really know much about their physiology. NTR-powered MAKS to challenge Pathfinder. Possible. It is genuinely possible. I'm not even joking. The Soviet NTR, I'm not sure the thrust to weight ratio would be high enough. I'm thinking about it. But its current, the tri-propellant engines MAKS uses, which is in the tech tree, and that's fully configured because Race Space made it. So we made it for RO. You could remove those two engines, slap the NTR in the middle, and have two smaller boost engines just to get it going, and then use the NTR up to orbit. It depends. I think it might be possible though. I think a nuclear-powered MAKS is something we could well see. I think that'd be a lot of fun. As ridiculous as that would be. We build the Baran. Yes, definitely. So we got Spiral first. I need to finish writing the configs for that. So I should do that next weekend and sort of get on top of for All Kerbalkind. I need to sort of change a bunch of Kerbal construct stuff because we had a few rule changes. So I need to configure Spiral and do all of that. And then once we've got Spiral, which is kind of our answer to Dinosaur, then we'll have Baran a bit later. And then after Baran, we'll have MAKS. And MAKS will replace Spiral, but it'll work in tandem with Baran. They've got very different capabilities. MAKS is smaller, it's more efficient crew launch. And it's also air launched as well, so it's a lot cheaper. So if we want to send crew to space stations, particularly military space stations, we'll probably use MAKS. Right, let's fire these up a little early this time. Ah, god dang it. I think it's that decoupling there. That thing actually clips it. Damn. We lost the engines. There they go, yeah. Don't know how to make that separation a little cleaner. We'll give it one more go. The N3 is show cannon. Will you build one? Probably not. I don't see how we could really improve on the N2 that much. I think the UR series of rockets, with it being more modular, really is the future of our space program. We've got the N2. I like the N2, but I don't really see what improvements we could make for an M3. Like, we've got the best Hydrolox engine for it, really, until we hit like shuttle era tech. And then those engines will be going on Energia/Vulcan, so we'll be using that. So I don't think there's really much need for an N3. Obviously, for all mankind, they don't have the UR rockets, right? So the N3 is their equivalent in launch capability of this thing. Right, so what's causing the problem here? I think it might be this decoupling and this actually clipping into the engines. So first of all, here's the question. Do we decouple the bottom instead of the top? That's probably going to be a better way of doing it. But these are also going to clip into that. So, whatever we do, there's a lot of clipping going on here, isn't there? What happened to one For All Kerbalkind episode per week? Well, it didn't happen, did it? Yeah. Sorry, that was mean. Shit happens. Life happens. People are busy. We've got lives. Got jobs. We went onto a one every 2 weeks. So it would be one video from one of us every 2 weeks. We had 6 weeks to make them, but each just offset. But N9's on hiatus at the moment. We were doing pretty well on that schedule, actually. People seem to forget how well we were doing and how well we've done for a few months in a row. It's only when they go on hiatus, like, oh, that didn't last very long, even though we stuck to it for a while. We were doing pretty well with the upload schedule for the first sort of half of this year. But then, yeah, as I said, N9 just is on hiatus at the moment. I was up for continuing it, but he's just busy. But we should be getting back to things soon. Fingers crossed. We've got things going on. At the end of the day, you got to remember this stuff is free. Like, we do this because we enjoy it. It is just a hobby. Yeah, we target those when we're not on hiatus, those sort of upload schedules, but we're often going to miss them. What's the way to improve this? With these engines sticking out as much as they do, we sort of hide the engines, but we can try changing which bit decouples, actually. So if we decouple both at once, then that'll stop it torquing the entire rocket. Fingers crossed. Let's try that. We'll try decoupling the top and the bottom at once. And maybe that'll work. Fingers crossed. What happens, we'll enable cheats just so we can get this to orbit anyway. I don't know how to stop this wobbling. I guess just for now we can just do the old launch stability enhancer. Sure, good enough. That'll just that'd be good enough. Let's try that. Yeah, cool. So that frame will just vaporize as it's got, yeah, essentially. I mean, that's what should basically happen. Like the top and the bottom will decouple, and they'll both clip, but that should be fine because then it will just torque on that bit. Like it will attach to the chunky bit of the rocket that was actually decapitating our engines. I think you need auto strut at the top. Do I? I think it's fine. The fuel tank at the top has got auto strut on it, so I think it'll be fine. The dummy payload has got auto strut. Oh, Cosaro hasn't seen the payload. They were demanding shark. I thought it looked like a shark before I did that. But I just gave the people what they wanted. Which is a big shark. Right. One last speed launch and then we'll call it a day. Okay, let's get this thing to orbit. We'll use a bit of time warp this time. Just going to turn my lights up a little bit. Okay, so I'm not quite so unilluminated. Probably also do that. That makes me a little less orange looking. There we go. I was just turning flux off. I've basically been blinded now. I accidentally got the engines down slightly. Don't know if these engines can throttle, can they? Oh, they can actually. They can throttle a bit. Okay, interesting. Good to know. What kind of payload to LEO are you aiming for? So this weighs 180 tons, and this should be able to get it to orbit quite comfortably. That's the plan anyway. But yeah, the OS 700 design without the pentaborane can do about 150 on paper. So with the pentaborane, us doing 180 is pretty good. But 150 is all you need for the LK 700 lunar mission, the direct ascent lunar mission. So we won't be using pentaborane for that. You ask your spies, I mean friends, ESA, to get us some tech or tech trade. We've considered tech trades. I think we would only do tech trades with ESA, just because they have some gaps in their tech tree. I think Carnasa can definitely make it work with the engines that he has. But yeah, as I said, there definitely are some gaps in there that might be nice to be plugged by some Soviet or American engines. So if we do tech trade with anyone, it will be with him. Yeah, we have not been gravity turning. I've been too busy looking at the chat. So gravity turning a little more aggressively. It's so weird seeing an engine with a green plume. Hey, it's Nepeta. Can you check Discord real quick? Yeah, oh, I should have actually put on Discord that I was streaming. Bear with, as we are launching Romket. I missed some kind of announcement. Let's have a look. Redeem the stream voucher. Ah. You're asked a bit late. It's near the end of the stream. So those of you that don't know, I let my Emperor tier patrons come on stream with me. But today's stream was... I didn't know I was going to be doing it until today, really. I meant to do it, as I said, like 6 weeks ago, and then had COVID, and then had a lot of stuff going on. Then I meant to do it last week, last Friday. I sort of fell through because I had too much going on. So now I'm getting back in the swing of things, but it was a very last minute decision, hence the stream assets and stuff not quite being done yet. But yeah, we're pretty much right at the end of the stream, so I think that would be that'd be a bit unfair, because I'm literally going to get this to orbit and then we're going to call it a day, I reckon. Yeah, someone else just getting over COVID too. I've had it 5 times. 5 times! How is that fair? We've turned way too much. We should probably be on the 20-degree marker. There we go. Yeah, I can't believe it. I had it 5 times. I had it like March 2020 as well. I had it really early and I had it really bad. I was hospitalized with that, and then I had it a couple more times with uni and stuff. I think just doing a lot of, having a lot of interests and doing a lot of music and mixing with lots of different groups. I have lots of hobbies and things. That must be why I just end up getting exposed to it. We are turning those on just in case. Just so I want to just get this to orbit already, even if it does hit something. But yeah, I just keep getting it. Literally every variant. Pokemon style, gotta catch them all. I get it. So I had Omicron and that became a thing. And then I got the new sort of variant of Omicron. This does look a bit goofy with the engine sticking out. I know you guys wanted a bit more exposed engine, but I think I might clip this into this a bit more. I don't know. I think it. Yeah, I feel like it should just really have the engine bell sticking out. I think it looks a little goof. You guys really liked seeing the rest of the engine turbo machinery though, so yeah, maybe I'll leave it. Damn, we are about to hit apoapsis. How has that happened? Oh no, we're not hitting apoapsis. I was looking at the numbers on this. No, we're ages away from apoapsis. Okay, we're fine. We actually probably need to... Oh god, this has been the worst gravity turn, I think, in the history of gravity turns. Okay, come on. Come on. Clean separation. Okay, yeah, that does work. Decouple both. Decouple both. I don't know if that still would have ripped the engines off, because I put it on unbreakable joints, but yeah. At least we're testing if we can get to orbit. That's something for me to fix at a later date. Let's get this shark into orbit. He wants to be free. He wants to swim the currents of space. I've had it once, but I have no life. You know what? To be fair, once it's detached, the exposed turbo machinery does look cool. It does look cool, actually. Yeah, yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'll leave it. I'll leave it. You guys like it, so... Yeah, that does look actually as a pretty cool base to a stage. The reason we've got these exposed, like, domes here is because that's where the fairing support for the LK700 actually attaches to. I don't imagine we'll use these for launching a space station, so we'll probably just put an aerodynamic nose cone on them, but I think we'll then change these back to these metal domes if we do then launch an LK700 on it. So I'll probably redesign this for the LK700. Probably put nose cones back on this for a normal launch. Crikey, this this ascent profile is goofy. Do we really have 7,000 meters per second of vacuum delta V? What is going on? I feel like this payload capacity might be a bit higher than we thought. Because what is going on with this ascent profile? I just am not paying attention. I'm just reading the chat. So yeah, I apologize for this ascent. It's been absolutely awful. We're going to try and not launch ourselves into the stratosphere. Well, we're way above the stratosphere. Into geostationary, let's say. Wow, okay. This has got... Can these reignite out of interest? No. Okay, that's fine. Apparently we have another 4,000 meters per second of delta V. I think this can... there's something a bit heavier. I think this could probably manage 200 tons. Particularly with a somewhat reasonable ascent profile with me not reading chat. What have we created? Just a monster. Wow, okay. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all this payload capacity. I reckon this could heft 200 tons, probably more. Probably more than 200. With how much we have left here. So, yeah. Wowza. We certainly created something this day. That's for sure. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed watching me create an abomination and then fly it very badly. But I hope this is getting everyone excited for All Kerbalkind coming back. Should be back in the next few weeks. I'm not going to promise anything. I'm not going to lock in any dates because then when we inevitably miss it, when things happen, everyone will be very upset. But I imagine, even if N9 doesn't come back off hiatus, we're at about the same point in time in game. So I've got a different project I've been working on, which I should finish this weekend, which I'm very excited for you guys to see. Put a lot of effort into it. It's another sort of sciencey video, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. That should be done this weekend. So next weekend I am going to start on All Kerbalkind again. If I finish a video before N9 does, and he's nowhere near releasing one, I'll just release a video. Because as I said, we're about the same point in time right now, so it doesn't really matter if I just continue for another few months in game. Because then he can just catch up to me. Like, it doesn't matter if we get a bit out of sync in the order of the videos, as long as we don't get out of sync time-wise in game. So I could just get a video out. And I know Carnasa's got some stuff recorded and can play a little bit further as well. So yeah, you got that to look forward to. That video will almost certainly not be out next weekend. I'm gonna have a look at my calendar. Bear with me. You can have a look at my Lego models and the penguin behind me. You know what? Yeah, it could very well be that weekend after. Or is that the 15th? Because actually I'm busy then. Okay, probably not the weekend after. Maybe the weekend after that. Like, okay, like I will say the latest it will return is the 22nd of September. I would be shocked if it arrived later than that. Don't at me if it still does arrive later, but I would be genuinely shocked. But I've got to configure Spiral and change my Kerbal construct stuff, so I imagine that taking most of next weekend and then record a video. But yeah, any later than the 22nd I would be very shocked. And then hopefully we'll be back into semi-regular. I reckon what we'll do is an episode every 2 weeks from one of the three of us. So it's 6 weeks. Each of us has 6 weeks to make an episode, just because, you know, I have a full-time job, so does Carnasa, so does N9. We're all very busy, so I think each having 6 weeks to make our episodes and then staggering them should mean you guys have plenty of content, keep you regularly fed, but also we have plenty of time to work on them. I think that's a very reasonable schedule. Thanks for watching, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. Thank you to everyone who donated. Let's have a look through. So Nepeta donated, so thanks Nepeta. Sorry I couldn't get you on this stream, but I should be streaming next Friday doing some Juno, so you can always hop on then if you'd like to. MCC DTK tipped with the suggestion of Colossus as a name for the rocket, which I may well use. Ratamisia, we got Pika, Paul, always a long time supporter of the channel, always pops in on the stream, so good to see you, bud. R7 was Jank. Incredible name. Cosaro, thanks for moderating as well, Cosaro. Thanks for joining Carnasa as well in the chat, and I believe we had Calvin as well. We've got Lags, got a few people. We're back to Friday streams. We should be back to Friday streams now. Yeah. Who else do we have in this list? Let's have a little look-see. We've also got, I'm trying to like scroll slightly, Plebby64 Potato. We got Cal 9000. And then we have Anonymous. Thank you, Anonymous, whoever that was. And that's everyone. So thank you, everyone who tipped. Yeah, that's very, very kind of you. Greatly appreciated. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. And hopefully I will see you very, very soon.